Today's day 43, and it's the start of week 7. And even though we took a 0 day yesterday, we made the call this morning to take another 0 today. So we're technically double zeroing. It's the first 2 zeros of the entire year. The weather just looked terrible today, so we decided to spend another day in Oxford, just rest and beat the rain. There were some tornado warnings, so it just didn't seem smart to hike out. So we just chilled out for the entire day, relaxed, and ate a whole bunch of food. You think we can walk more than 20 feet at a time? That's it looks kind of cool though, how bright it is. Dun dun dun. Today is day 43, and today we did the elusive double zero. Yesterday was the first 0 of the entire calendar year Triple Crown. The weather was supposed to be terrible yesterday. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst. And then we just kept looking at the radar yesterday and we're realizing, oh, like all the weather is actually pushing off until today. So we woke up this morning and we're kind of just waiting and checking the weather to see what to do. And it was just pretty rough. It's like low 40s all of today. You can see it's like dumping rain still. It's been raining all day. Tornado warnings in the area. So we just decided to take another 0 because we were already here. Just wait it out. Tomorrow the weather looks better. I think Friday looks pretty good too. And I mean, I was thinking I'd get to the AT the start of March. We're actually gonna get there maybe like the 20th or somewhere in that range of February. And even taking the day off yesterday and today, we're still wicked ahead of schedule. So there was just no reason to get soaking wet, miserable, and cold today. So we didn't. We hung out, watched movies all day, ate some good food. Double zero, man, what a luxury. Didn't think I'd be doing a lot of those on this trail, but here we are. Then tomorrow morning we're getting picked up 6 a.m. by Andy, who put us in the room last night and the night before. And he's gonna bring us back to the trailhead, mile 114 of the Pinhoti trail, so that we can start walking again from there. Today's day 44, and we got dropped off this morning and began hiking along the Pinhoti trail once again. It was a little bit drizzly this morning and the trail was a little bit flooded, but I was so glad to be back to walking after our 2 zeros in a row. The start of day 44. We woke up at the room like 5:30, packed up. Andy drove us back to the trailhead near Heflin at like 6, and we're moving after the double zero. We're back to it. We're doing like a slightly different route than the actual Pinhoti. We're still in the woods, but it's not the actual trail. It's gonna get us to Cave Springs tomorrow instead of the day after, so that's really nice. We'll be on the AT within the week. It was kind of like misting this morning, like lightly raining, but nothing too bad, and it's a lot better now. It's just kind of cold, honestly, but there's some little hills and stuff, so really can't wear rain gear or any layers. But yeah, we're probably gonna try to get to like this campsite area tonight, and then possibly these 2 hikers I met on the AT, Rocket and Groundhog, are gonna meet us tonight there, which would be cool. So we'll just see. For summit today, we did a little dirt road alternate. There's a road that actually paralleled the trail and it shaved off some miles, which just bought us some more time. But we bounced onto the Pinhoti here and there over the course of the day. And eventually, toward the end of the day, we got back onto the Pinhoti trail and we continued on that for the entire day, and we'll be back on the Pinhoti for the entire day tomorrow too. But the cool thing is, as the day was wrapping up, I was talking to someone named Rocket, who I met on the Appalachian Trail in 2023, and her boyfriend Groundhog are going to come out tonight and meet us at the dirt road, CR94. They're going to pick us up and take us out to dinner for the night. So it's going to be a late night because it'll probably take a little while to get in and out of town. But I'm excited to get a nice meal in to end the day today and just pack some more calories in. what they're called. That's just what my mom always says. The place she used to live. It is the start of day 45, and this morning was ridiculously cold, probably in the high 20s. We got up around 4:30 and then wound up just laying in our sleeping bags until about 6 a.m. when we finally started moving. But luckily there were some climbs to start the day, so we warmed up quickly. But when we got up to the top of the first climb, it was so cold. I was sweaty because I wore my alpha layers for the climb, and then once you cooled down, it was freezing. But it wasn't too bad, and then over the course of the day, it warmed up a lot. And we're just heading in the general direction of Cave Springs, where we're going to be staying tonight. This is one of my favorite sections of trail. You go through this ATV park. There's a bunch of shelters and cool things to see along the way. So it was pretty exciting, and I really enjoyed all the elevation gain today. And then we just continued heading towards Cave Springs.
What a life.
Frickin' double decker. For sure. In the afternoon, we had a pretty exciting event. We crossed out of Alabama and into Georgia, so we're officially 2 states into the hike with 22 more states to go for the year.
Alabama line. Key West!
Stop it, really?
Yeah!
Really feels like a lifetime ago having been here before. You stayed here before?
Doesn't seem like the 6 is engaging. Yeah?
Little house on the prairie or what? So cute. All right, day 45. Yesterday we did 31 miles. We got out to a road 4:30 p.m. and then we sat around for like an hour or two, and Rocket and Groundhog, who I met on the Appalachian Trail and then saw again at Trail Days in May of 2024. They live in the area. They drove out, met us around like 6:15, picked us up, drove us into Piedmont, and we got Mexican food for dinner together, which was amazing. And then after we ate, they drove us right back. We like went off into the woods and set up camp for the night in a spot that I actually camped exactly in the same spot when I was on the Pinhoti Trail in 2023. So we went to bed a little late, like probably going to bed around 9, and then had an early start this morning. Woke up at like 4:30 and didn't walk until 6-ish because it was dang cold. So we had like a hot drink and just hung out and just did not want to get moving, which happens sometimes. But we only had like 29, 30-ish miles to do today. And we were going to be getting into Cave Springs, which is where we are now. We are at the Hearn Inn, adorable little like old school building turned into motel basically. So we did a lot of elevation gains today. The day started with a pretty big climb, but I've been feeling really good on the climbs. It's funny looking back on the Pinhoti from the first time and how different it feels this time and how much stronger I feel, because we started in the same camp spot today that I camped in before, but this section took us 1 day, and last time I came through here, it took me 2 days. And it was like 1.5, like I got into the Hearn Inn last time after 1 full day and then a half day, but still, like the difference is wild. So we did a lot of climbing today. We officially crossed out of Alabama and are into Georgia. So 2 states down, 22 states to go. It feels good to be moving. Cave Springs kind of marks the section where rather than staying on the Pinhoti Trail, we're going to cut towards Amicalola Falls. It's something that like a friend of mine out and about did on his ECT hike a few years ago. It's like something Professor Carl did. A lot of people do a version of this depending on like whatever their goal is. Last time when I was on the Pinhoti, I continued north, finished the whole Pinhoti, got on the Benton MacKay, connected that southbound to Springer, which adds like 100 miles because you go north really far and then you drop south and then you continue north. So it's not direct by any means. So we're cutting up from Cave Springs straight to Amicalola Falls. So it's going to save us a bunch of time. We're going to be at the AT very soon. We're going to be there soon. If it's, what is today? It's the end of the week. Definitely next week. That's for sure. And I'm excited to get on the AT and just be a part of the whole thing again. All these new, fresh hikers. It's going to be cool to be around hikers in general. We haven't really seen a lot of hikers on the Pinhoti at all, just a couple. So it's going to be cool to be around people again until we kind of break past the bubble and are in a more secluded no-bow hike going forward. But it'll be fun. And for now, we just got checked in. We have all our stuff. We went to the grocery store and got like frozen pizza and stuff for dinner. I got my staple, half gallon of whole chocolate milk, quick 1,600 calories. Got a soda, got some chips, and we are hanging. We're gonna like watch movies, hang out, and have a chill night, and then kind of just play it by ear the next 2 days. There's supposed to be really bad weather coming in Saturday, Sunday. Looking at the weather online, it's 25% chance of rain, but it's like a weather warning, and so it's tough to say what's really gonna happen. But because of this road walk, we have some options. So we gonna see what happens. Either way, we're gonna be on the AT way sooner than I expected, like 2 weeks earlier than I expected. So we're moving, and it's all going great. It's day 46. We slept in. Because of the time change yesterday, we were up until like 11 or midnight, which is bad. And then slept in until almost 8. So we're just packing up, leaving. We made cinnamon rolls for breakfast at the Hernan, and then we're gonna get moving. But the bright side is it's February 15th, and we are hoping to be on the AT the 20th. We're actually gonna probably be there the 17th or the 18th. So we're still very ahead of schedule, even though we've been messing around a little bit. Cuyahoga Falls.
Key West is...
After our pretty late start this morning, we eventually got walking, and we just made our way out of Cave Springs and continued on the road. We actually stayed on the Pinhoti Trail route of road walking for most of the day before veering off in the direction of Rome. And it's funny because last time I hiked the Pinhoti Trail, I actually got a ride with my tramily into Rome, and we spent the night there and wound up zeroing there. But this time around, we walked straight into Rome, and it was a pretty short day today. But just because of timing and everything, we decided to stay in Rome for the night. On this road walk, there aren't a ton of options for camping because you're on a lot of private land, going by houses and through cities. So we did about 18 miles, got into Rome, and then got a room for the night there. We are Rome. We're just people. All right, it is basically the end of day 46. This morning we slept in at the room. We didn't even start walking until a little bit after 9, but it wasn't really a big deal. We kind of couldn't go super far today, especially having the late start, but we got off the Pinhoti Trail this afternoon and then started doing this other road walk, which basically is just gonna take us directly to Amicalola Falls, rather than doing the Pinhoti Trail to the end, connecting to the Benton MacKay, and then adding a bunch of miles doing that. I've done that before. It just doesn't make as much sense this time around because of how many miles I'm gonna be doing this year in general. So it'll be nice to get to the Appalachian Trail as early as possible, just so that we can take our time on the AT if there's issues with weather and stuff. So today we only did 18 miles, which doesn't feel like a lot, but that's okay. And there was really, like, we either stopped here or we did a really big day, like, and tried to camp somewhere. But just based off the road walk we did today, it's pretty clear we're mostly going by fenced off farmland, private land, houses, or going through cities. So it's really not ideal for camping. So we got into Rome like before 4 o'clock today and just decided to get a room for the night. It was easier that way, just makes more sense. And we are so ahead of schedule, it really doesn't matter. So I know we've been staying in a ton of rooms, but this section of the Eastern Continental Trail that we've been doing from Key West to here, basically Key West to the Appalachian Trail, unless you want to stealth camp in cities, towns, or risk your luck on private property, you kind of have to stay in rooms. It's not ideal. And I know a lot of people don't really think that that's something that thru hikers do, but you do, especially on untraditional trails and routes like the ECT. So we've been staying in places, there's no shame in that. And I'm very grateful for all the many people who've reached out and helped to put us up in rooms for the night. We met a guy today, Brent, and he put us up tonight. So we're staying at the Days Inn in Rome. And the funny thing is, I stayed in this exact same hotel when I was here in 2023 on the Pinhoti Trail. Someone in my family, their dad picked us up and drove us here, and we zeroed here. And in this hotel is actually where I wrote my first ever blog post for the trek. So it's kind of cool to be back here. We got in super early today, grabbed some lunch at Steak and Shake, and we're just hanging out for the rest of the night. And part of me wants to feel guilty for taking some shorter days like we have this last week, but we bought ourselves the time to do it. We're ahead of schedule, there's been some weather, and if anything, I think our bodies need the rest and the rehab, and it's gonna be busier on the AT. We're gonna be doing bigger days. It's gonna be easier to go in and out of town and to then just camp on the trail. So I figure we'll be doing a lot of camping and a lot less platinum blazing on the AT. So we got to enjoy the comforts while we have them. We're just gonna chill out the rest of the night and continue road walking north of Rome tomorrow. We'll just see where we wind up. We're not doing good. Yeah, I gotta eat dinner at 9, definitely. Day 47 began with some more road walking. It was actually a really good thing that we did a short day yesterday and stopped in Rome because a tornado passed through Rome last night. Right through town, did some damage somewhere, but wasn't probably as bad as it could have been. So that worked out pretty well. And today we're going to be doing another really short day. Our options are once again limited because of the road walking, but it's all right. I know once we're back on trail, we'll be doing big miles again. So we just road walked for a while. It was only really 5 or 6 hours of walking for the day. Then we got into the next town and got a room for the night, nice and early, got to do some relaxing, eat some food, and just hang out. The end of day 47. It was another short day today. We did 18.8 miles, trying not to feel bad about it, but it's okay. Really glad we stayed in the hotel in Rome last night because there was a tornado in Rome last night that touched down, I guess, somewhere and did some damage. The winds were crazy, like 65 to 95 mile per hour winds. So we kind of just called it a day because of the camping options. But we knew there was some weather incoming, so at the end of the day, pretty glad that we did that. And today we did 18.8. We were walking on like a busy highway, really no woods. The only areas where there was like wooded portions were near people's fenced in farmland or private property. So would have been nice to go further, but that's okay. Had a short day, called it before 4 p.m., got another room for the night. Luckily, like Alabama and Georgia area is super cheap. It was like $55, $60 for the room. So we'll be back to it tomorrow. Hopefully it's going to be 30 or somewhere between 30 to 35 miles tomorrow. And then we are going to be getting really close to Amicalola Falls. We're only 50 something miles away right now. So we'll do a big day tomorrow. And then the next day we will be at the start of the Appalachian Trail, which is super exciting. Just chilling tonight. We got Taco Bell, brought it back to the room, and we're gonna have an early night. We were up super late last night. So early night today and an early start tomorrow and another big mile day, getting back to it. It is day 48. We actually got out of the room bright and early this morning, which is a good change of pace. But today we're planning on doing a 30 plus mile day, getting back to it. And we left town around maybe 7 o'clock or at first light and just had another long day of road walking ahead. But this is the last full day of road. And then tomorrow we're going to be getting to Amicalola Falls. A Sam should be cool. About 15 or 16 miles into the day, we went through a small town and stopped off at a Subway for some lunch, and then just continued along the road. There were some more places to stop off, got some chocolate milk and an ice cream at a Dollar General, and then we just continued on and stopped off one more time before camp so we could fill up on water, and I got another chocolate milk. And then we just had to walk until we came to a church, which had a big grassy area, which seemed perfect for camping. End of day 48. Finally, we're back to it. We did like over 32 miles today. Amicalola Falls tomorrow. So this was the last complete day of road walking all day, which is nice. Trying to think, we hit like a Subway, small town, like 15, 17 miles into the day. Around lunchtime, got some lunch, and it was super cold today. Wore like my Montbell wind gear pretty much all day. And then we just kept walking on the road, went by a bunch of gas stations and stuff. Just like within the last mile or two, we went by one last gas station, got a chocolate milk, and now we're camping by a church for the night. Then we're like 21 miles from Amicalola Falls. So we'll have a little climbing to do tomorrow to get to Amicalola. I have to go up over like one mountain, but then we'll be there starting the AT, which is gonna be super nice. But it feels good to be back doing big mile days again, that's for sure. It is the start of day 49 and the end of week 7. This morning we woke up, the tents were frozen over, but we had a super early start, walking by 5:30 a.m. We walked in the dark for a couple of hours. And today we only have 21 miles to go to get to Amicalola Falls, the start of the Appalachian Trail. We wound up getting to Amicalola Falls right around noon, 21 miles into the day, got our tags and grabbed something to eat, and then we began the approach trail. The stairs were definitely a little bit hard. It's just a different muscle group being worked over and over, but it wasn't too bad. We made it up the approach trail pretty quickly, and it was still so early. We knew we were going to be going further down the trail today. I think the Coke's the only thing I drank today. Right around Springer Mountain, we actually ran into a guy named Milkman. He's attempting the calendar year Triple Crown this year, which is pretty cool. And it seems like this is going to be a big year for the calendar year Triple Crown. There's about 10 people attempting it, including the two of us, which is pretty exciting, and probably 2 times as many people that normally attempt it, which is very cool. And we got to Springer so early, we decided to do another 8 miles to get to Hawk Mountain Shelter. So it's going to be about a 38-mile day today. End of day 49. We're at Hawk Mountain Shelter. Made it to the AT today. 38 miles, 7,000 feet of vert. We woke up this morning at the church in the grass, walked for like 2 hours in the dark. Had to do like 21 miles to get to Amicalola. Had a little climb in the middle of the day. We didn't stop for the first time until we got there. Got there around noon. Went to the visitor center, got some drinks. Did the approach trail, and then just decided to keep going. Have a big day. Weather's going to be bad tomorrow. Fresh ground, or this girl I know, Monarch, might pick us up tomorrow. We're only going to have like 12 miles to do tomorrow. Not bad after the 2 18-mile days. We're back. 33 yesterday, 38 today. We're going to be chilling tomorrow. Somewhere in town, avoiding some freezing rain and terrible weather. Just got to the shelter. And like nobody's in there, so set up inside, gonna eat dinner, chill out, and have a super early day tomorrow.